Hi, I'm Julia. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to discuss my thoughts on Math with Confidence and The Good and the Beautiful, which one I use and what I'm going to do going forward. This is just an off-the-cuff video. I have no notes prepared, just going to talk and give some ramblings on my opinions and what I have experienced over the years. We started off with Good and the Beautiful many years ago when they had their original math products, math lines that they updated, 4 or 5 years ago now at this point. And that was a really good program. I really wish that they didn't update it, or if they did, they would have not cut so much out of it. It was a really good program. In fact, Math with Confidence is very similar to it. It's not as advanced, and it is missing a lot of the bonus activities, a lot of the individual puzzles. That was one of the great things about that particular math product line, were the amount of puzzles, the tangrams, the actual, the ones that you can cut out and glue together, and then they had some versions that you color. It was a really nice product line, but it was very long-winded in that it was a narrative style, and it took a while to get through the lesson, and there were a lot of moving parts and pieces. Math with Confidence also has a lot of moving parts and pieces, but not as much as the original Good and Beautiful. We then transitioned to the Simply, and my oldest daughter didn't do well with it after about the third grade. And unbeknownst to me, that was going to be an issue for most kids, was level 3 and pretty much every math that you come to. The amount of skills that children are expected to learn, expected to know. You've got the math multiplication tables that you have to memorize. You have the various different equations that they're starting to introduce. It's just a lot. It's a big leap. And so I assumed, wrongfully at that time, that if she wasn't understanding it or she wasn't grasping concepts, that was because it was the product's fault and not her just needing some more time to go through that. So we jumped around to a lot of different curriculum. We came back last year. We did another level of Good and the Beautiful. We did level 5. I wanted her to go through that through an accelerated pace. Instead of doing Saxon, that's where we had landed for her. My child does not do well with spiral. At least my oldest does not do well with spiral. It drives her absolutely up the wall. So whether it's Saxon, it's Good and the Beautiful, it's Math with not Math with Confidence, it's Master Books, anything that is spiral based, her mind explodes. So she's now doing Denison. And my 4th grader, who will be in the 5th, she bounced around a whole lot. She, as I have discovered over the years, is a child that needs a lot of time and a lot of patience. It took her almost 2 years just working on multiplication tables for 6 months out of those 2 years to learn her multiplication tables. And we're only at the 10s. We haven't learned the 11s and the 12s yet. Some she has down. Some of the 11s are easy for her. But she needs to go at a much slower pace. She struggles remembering most everything that we do with her. So we bounced around for a while. We went to Master Books. We did Master Books for a couple of years. And then by the time we got to level 4 was no longer offering the explanation that she needed to do the math work. She was feeling frustrated. I decided to try Math with Confidence at that point. We did that our first semester of this past year, and we did level 3 to make sure that she understood everything from level 3 before we went into level 4. She did really well with it. It was working for her, and I discovered at that point she does well with a spiral mastery blend. She will not do good with a Math-U-See, and she didn't do well with Apologia. Apologia didn't have enough review. Math with Confidence had that little bit extra. It had that review, but also a mastery style, not as much as Math-U-See, however. So she was doing good, and then we got to level 4, and all the wind went out of her little sail. She found it really boring. So we went back to Good and the Beautiful. She's been doing that now for a couple months, Good and the Beautiful level 4. And I have come to the conclusion, I'm wearing my baby carrier. So if you hear a baby and me adjusting, that's why. I've come to the conclusion that we're going to do both. We're going to combine both Good and Beautiful and Math with Confidence And how I'm going to do that is The Good and the Beautiful is going to be our main math curriculum for her going forward, unless she gets to a point where she too just can't handle the spiral. But we're going to do that, and then I'm going to keep Math with Confidence, all of the levels. I'm going to keep my books, my actual physical books, but then I'm also going to get the downloads. And my reasoning for that is it's easier for me to flip through a book to see what it is that we need and to align that and have both of my books side by side, whatever it is I'm looking at with Good and Beautiful or Math with Confidence or Master Books, anything else. I do better when I have the physical books in front of me. So I can see what it is that we can do and how we're going to do it. But then I'll take my downloads and I will print off whatever it is that I need, as much as I need, and then I can use it for other children. So what we found these last couple of weeks is when she was struggling with division and how to do the beginning stages of division, Good and Beautiful does a nice job of explaining it, but it didn't do it in a way that resonated with her. So I got out the Math with Confidence level 4. I found where they were explaining those concepts, and we started using those lessons. And it took about 3 or 4 lessons, and then it all clicked and we went back to Good and the Beautiful. That's how we're going to use it going forward. Whether it's my up and coming children or it's my number 2 daughter, we're just going to stick with our main of Good and Beautiful, and then we're going to intersplice Math with Confidence as we need. It's a good program, but it is a little bit slower. It is, I think, a little bit behind Good and the Beautiful. I do think that Good and the Beautiful is more advanced than what they let on. The original, they had said that it was an advanced math, same with their language arts, but when this new Simply came out, they said that it was more grade level. I don't think that it is. When I have compared the Good and the Beautiful to, say, Saxon, so level 5 would be more equivalent to a Saxon, what would it be, a 6-5? You'll get some 5-4 in there, but a lot of the concepts you'll find are on a 6-5. So it's more advanced than what you're going to get with most other choices. So Master Books is certainly about a grade level behind, and Math with Confidence is about a grade level behind, but it does well in explaining all of the details and everything that your child needs to know. And I really do, if you've not ever looked in the level 4 books, look in the level 4, especially if your children struggle with division. They have everything color coded with all of the division steps, and not just like circling it, but the actual grid paper that they use is color coded for all of the place value. And so you go through and you circle your ones in a color, and then you circle all your tens in a color, and you circle all of your hundreds in a color, and those align with your actual division bar, whatever that thing's called. And that's how they do their math. It's nice. It's a very nice program. And I think that there's something else that they did that was really neat. That was also in level 4. I can't remember what it was. Maybe something to do with fractions. But it's all color-coded, and it's very nice, and it's simple, and it's easy to do. So if you are interested in combining both, I would suggest give it a try. I don't think one program is better than the other. I just think that they do things differently, and they fit a certain population or a certain need of the population that we don't have with other products. So see what happens, give it a try, and let me know what you think. Let me know what you're going to do, and if you've come to the same conclusion, if you're someone that's used both, or if you're curious, or how you might end up doing that, or if you combine something else with Good and the Beautiful. I know Master Books is another one a lot of people play around with, and Apologia sometimes. So hopefully this video wasn't too confusing and wasn't too long-winded and frustrating. I need to go. He's a little bit antsy. Give me a like if you enjoyed this video. Thanks. Bye.